welcome to another FAQ Monday, where we answer all your questions, 4 or 5 at a time, while I sip the coffee. It is very good coffee. First question. Any experience with isolation cabinets? Are they usable for night recording? Thanks. Actually, I recently just got an ISO cab. I got a Randall 412 ISO cabinet, and it's a single 12-inch speaker in a 412 Randall enclosure, and the speaker is mounted sideways to take advantage of the space going diagonally, so to speak, with a mic at the bottom, and it's wonderful. I really love it. I've had some experience with older designs, like the original Randall box top cab, top mount ISO cab. That was pretty boxy sounding, and the only good one that I've tried before that I really liked was the Rivera Silent Sister, which is actually engineered to like move air properly and all this stuff, and it's very expensive, and I could never ever afford one. But the Randall is really good. Now for night recording, it's still going to be pretty loud. In stock form, the seal around the door where you put the microphone and you close it with the Rode latch, the seal is actually just Tolex against Tolex, and it doesn't seal at all. So it's actually quite loud right out of the box. However, if you get a roll of foam tape, then you can go around the perimeter of the door like I did and seal it nice and tight, and then you can have a conversation right next to the cabinet. And then it is super top notch and sounds even better, and I really love it. The foam tape is actually, I had to order 5 or 6 different rolls to get the right thickness and width and all that stuff, but I will leave a link down below in the description for the stuff that I found to be best for this kind of door sealing application. Hey Fluffmeister, what's your stance on the whole tone wood debate? I personally believe that wood makes no difference in an electric guitar tone-wise. Once you understand the science, it can't be true. All right, so I'm just gonna start using this on a regular basis. Here's a butthurt form. Download that. Download link is also in the description. Go ahead and get a butthurt form. I was asked my opinion on it, and this is just my opinion. Tone woods. I don't think they have as much to do with the sound of the guitar as the big companies would like you to think. Now, there is a side of tone that is never really accounted for in the science and all of the math, and that is feel. And I think the wood has a huge feel in the overall tone. It's kind of like a sum of its parts kind of a thing. Does wood make or break the sound of an electric guitar? Absolutely not. Do the pickups really matter in how an electric guitar sounds? Yes. However, there are other factors involved. For example, the mass of the bridge. And a good example of that being for the Floyd Rose upgrades, where you can add the bigger block, tone block, that's screwed to the underside of the bridge. That changes the tone drastically. No one's arguing that, but some people seem to be stuck on the whole tone wood thing. Who cares? If your guitar sounds good, then it sounds good, in my opinion. And it does have some effect on the tone. What? I don't know, but I do know that when I was developing the beard comb or my signature fastback pickup, I would take the same pickup and put it in different guitars, and it would sound very different. Now, is that due to the mass of the bridge on the individual guitars? It might be. I don't know. However, you know, does a maple top guitar sound worlds and worlds different if you were to take that maple top off and simply put mahogany there? No, probably not. And I've had a talk with a physicist about this, actually. I have a friend who's a physicist, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense of how wood would affect the tone. But feel is a factor for us guitarists, and the wood does play a huge part in the feel, and I think that cannot be excluded from the conversation per se. Hello Fluff, I've seen you post a picture of 2015 Gibson LPM. How would you compare new necks to your 2013 traditional one? If you hang out on the Twitters or the Instagrams, I posted this pic when I actually sat down and played a 2015 Gibson. And my thoughts were these. The mini tune, the robotic tuner thing, not into it, but that can easily be replaced because there's actually no mounting holes drilled into it. The back of the headstock is just held on by the nuts of the tuning pegs themselves. So that's easily taken off and replaced with a set of $45 Grovers. Cool. I actually really liked the nut, the brass adjustable nut that you can adjust up and down. I really liked that. It was really, really cool. And it felt good and it sounded great. The fret job on several of the 2015 Gibsons were very, very good. And you can get the action nice and low without any buzz. They've really stepped up the fret job game, so to speak. The one sticking point that I could not get over or get used to was the 1/10 of an inch added to the width of the neck at the nut. It felt weird. It's just too wide. When you go to wrap your hand around the neck and do like a G chord and put your thumb over the top, it felt closer to a classical guitar. And I know a classical guitar is much, much wider still, but that's where your brain goes when you're in the moment, trying to wrap your hand around the nut of the neck. And it felt strange. It also looked kind of strange too, because that you don't have that nice taper going up anymore. It's just kind of just this big, thick slab of neck. It felt strange, the width. So if they got rid of the width of the added width at the nut, I would totally pick up a 2015 Gibson. They have improved their guitars, and kudos to them for trying to at least improve and do some quality control. How was your experience on the Rhodes Gemini? Is it good for any type of genre out there? Love your vids, thanks stuff. That's funny, when I chose this question, I had no idea that my own personal 100-watt Rhodes Gemini was going to arrive today on the film day that I shoot FAQ Mondays. This is my 100-watt Gemini, and I just got it about an hour ago, and it is so wonderful, and it's so harmonically rich. And to answer your question, the amp does everything. It does jazz, country, blues, super brutal metal, and is so tight and so responsive, and you know exactly where your money went right when you plug into it and hit that first chord. And you don't need any pedals at all for this amp. It's just extremely awesome. My history with Rhodes is I first did the Colossus amp video with my buddy Jason Frankhauser, which you can see right here. And that was just an incredible amp. And then when I went to go do the Bareknuckle Juggernaut pickups for Misha from Periphery, my buddy Keith Merrill let me borrow his prototype Gemini. And after that, it was just love. I had to send it away. Obviously, I had to send it back to Keith. And it was like that high school girlfriend that has to leave for college and you are always thinking about her. It was like that, but with an amp. How sad is that? I don't know. Anyway, don't answer that question. It was an amazing amp, and I just had to have one. So I ordered one in the middle of this year, and I just got it, like I said, about an hour ago, and it's so incredible. I highly recommend Rhodes, which incidentally now is KSR. This is one of the last Rhodes branded amps, and everything's been slowly changing over to KSR amps, just so everyone knows. This week's suggestion, I highly recommend you go and watch this 3-part compression series from the guys over at Sonic Sense. They explain the uses of compression, what is compression, and all the different applications, types, and what it sounds like. They have sound clips, you can A/B them, and it's just an awesome series. So if anybody out there records their own stuff, check these out, really get an understanding of what compression does to your mixes and what it is doing overall to anything that you're applying it to. It's just so well done. The series, I couldn't do a better job myself. Bravo to Sonic Sense. It's time for me to go, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments or go over to my Ask FM account thing, and I will see you next week. Fluff out.